what a great tool it is to sit down with an agent and say, listen, you're going to come over to EXP, you're going to join my organization, and you get this coaching program for free. So that's another great tool that you guys can use. So just remember that. John Smith, how are you doing, pal?
Outstanding, Bill. How you doing, brother?
I am doing really, really good. You in Michigan? Are you in Charlotte? Where are you at?
You're in Charlotte. Heading up to Michigan, Thanksgiving, see the family, but here in Charlotte right now.
Yeah, you definitely did well with your frequent flyer miles back and forth the last 2 months.
Yeah, you sure have.
So Nick, I just want to celebrate Nick. Nick brought on big agent Kelly. You want to tell everyone before we get into mindset today about Kelly and her team and Joe?
Sure. Yeah, I've been. This is one of those stories where you say, Bill, that sometimes you have to wait on people and talk to them for a while. But I've been recruiting Kelly and her team. She had a team of 20, recruiting them for like a year and talking with them. And they finally decided to make the jump. And there's a couple of like leaders in there. So she has her team that she brought over. She got about half of them to follow her, maybe a little bit more than half to follow her over from her brokerage. And then she also got another team leader to come with her right away. So she's already got someone in Atlanta, another person in California, 2 other people in Fort Mill she's bringing over. So it definitely took a while. It took about a year. I actually thought she fell off the face of the earth. She wasn't responding to me. And then all of a sudden got a phone call on random Friday about a month ago. And she's like, okay, I'm ready. So sometimes it happens like that. Good stuff. Congrats. So listen, guys, we're going to talk about mindset today. We're going to mix it up today. So I really must have went through like 40 videos yesterday looking for a video on success and a video on a mindset. So I grabbed our first video. It's about 10 minutes long. It's all about success and what it takes to be successful. We're going to watch that. And to my surprise, out of all the videos I watched, the best one I saw was Arnold Schwarzenegger. John Smith, you're going to love this, okay? So, Nick, if you can cue up this video for everyone, and then after the video, I'm going to go over something, and we'll start our next video. Cool.
The first rule of success is to have a vision. You see,
Nick, we lost volume.
47 in Austria after.
All right, so I tried to mute my own mic and play the video at the same time, but apparently I cannot do that. So I will just stay quiet.
Yeah, just start it over.
So I was. The first rule of success is to have a vision. You see, if you don't have a vision of where you go, and if you don't have a goal where you go, you drift around and you never end up anywhere. I mean, as you know, I was born in 1947 in Austria after the Second World War. So I was very fortunate that I stumbled onto my vision. And I didn't really like Austria when I grew up. I couldn't wait to get out of there. I couldn't see myself becoming a farmer or a worker in a factory or anything like that, even though my parents wanted me to stay there and have a normal life. But that was their vision, not mine. My vision was totally different. I felt that I was born for something special, for something unique, for something big. And then one day I went to school. I remember I was 11 years old, and they showed a documentary about America. There they showed in this documentary the huge skyscrapers, the high-rises, the huge bridges, the 6-lane freeways, and all of this stuff. And I said to myself, that's where I want to be. I don't want to be around here in these little farmhouses and these little buildings. I want to be in America. One day after school, I walked by a store in Graz. So I went inside and I looked around, and then I saw a magazine. I saw a bodybuilding magazine that had Reg Park on the cover. Reg Park was then a 3-time Mr. Universe. And I saw him on the big screen as Hercules. I read that and I said to myself, wow, this is the blueprint for my life. This is exactly what I want to do. I want to become a bodybuilding champion just like Reg Park. I want to get into movies just like Rich Park. And I want to make millions of dollars and be rich and famous, just like Rich Park. Do you know how great it felt that I knew where I was going? Imagine the majority of people don't know where they're going. I knew where I was going, that I'm going to become this bodybuilding champion just like him. So it was just a question of how do you do it? I was so relieved because when you have a goal, when you have a vision, everything becomes easy. So people always ask me, when they saw me in the gym in the pumping iron days, they say, why is it that you're working out so hard? 5 hours a day, 6 hours a day, and you have always a smile on your face. And I told people all the time, I said, because to me, I'm shooting for a goal. In front of me is the Mr. Universe title. So every rep that I do gets me closer to accomplishing that goal, to make this goal, this vision turn into reality. Every single set that I do, every repetition, every weight that I lift will get me a step closer to turn this goal into reality. So I couldn't wait to do another 500-pound squat. I couldn't wait to do another 500-pound bench press. I couldn't wait to do another 2,000 reps of sit-ups. I couldn't wait for the next exercise. At the age of 20, I went to London and I won the Mr. Universe contest as the youngest Mr. Universe ever. And it was because I had a goal. So let me tell you something, visualizing your goal and going after it makes it fun. You got to have a purpose no matter what you do in life. You got to have a purpose. 74% hate their job in America. Now, this is not much different when you come to Europe. The majority of people don't like what they're doing because they're really not doing it because they didn't have a goal and they followed this goal. They just aimlessly drift around and then all of a sudden there's a job opening, so they get their job because you have to work. But then when you work, it's a chore. It's work. It's not fun. So if you think about only a quarter of the people really enjoy what they're doing in life, that is unbelievable if you think about it. So I felt so blessed that I knew what I was doing. It's like a medical student that studies and knows he wants to become a doctor. You know where to go. And the same thing is also in politics. I remember that in politics, I had a very clear vision that I will be the leader of California. This is as far as I could go because I was not born in America, so I could not run for president. So being the governor of the fifth largest state, of, I should say the largest state, the fifth largest economy in the world, was for me really the ultimate title, the ultimate accomplishment in politics. So even though people came up to me and says, why don't you go and run for something smaller? You're never gonna make it. I ran for governor and then 2 months later, I became governor of the state of California. Again, because I had a very clear vision what I'm gonna do with California. So that's rule number one, have a vision. Rule number two is don't listen to the naysayers. Don't listen to the naysayers. Everything I ever did, the thing that I heard out of people's mouth was, that's impossible. That can't be done. And no. That is exactly what I heard. Of course, I proved to the people that it can't be done. So whenever someone said to me, it can't be done, I heard it can be done. When they said no, I heard yes. And when they said it's impossible, I heard it is possible. I'm a strong believer of what Nelson Mandela said, that everything is always impossible until someone does it. Well, I'm going to be the one, I said to myself, I'm going to do it and I'm going to show it to them. Maybe it has never been done before. That's perfectly fine with me. But I'm going to do it. And I did not listen to the naysayers. It's all about the hard work that you put in. I said to myself, in bodybuilding, I worked out 5-6 hours a day. I'm going to do the same thing now for acting. And of course, I went to college to study English. I studied the accent removal, acting classes, and all of this stuff all day long. I worked and I worked and I worked. And within a short period of time, I made one movie called Hercules in New York, which of course went right into the toilet. But it didn't discourage me. I still had the same vision. And then all of a sudden I did Streets of San Francisco. I did Stay Hungry and Pumping Iron and The Villain. And then all of a sudden I was asked by Dino De Laurentiis and the Universal Studio to star in Conan the Barbarian. And after I did Conan the Barbarian, the director at the press conference said to the press, the director was John Milius. He said to the press, if we wouldn't have had Arnold, we would have had to build one. So think about that. The very body that they said can never be sold because the time is wrong. A few years later, I'm doing Conan the Barbarian, and it was the #1 hit at the box office when it came out in the summer of '82. Think about that. And the director says, if we wouldn't have had his body, we would have had to build one. So all of a sudden, my body became an asset, not a liability. And the same thing was with Terminator. After we were finished filming Terminator, Jim Cameron said to the press, if Arnold wouldn't have had that accent and talked like a machine, I think the movie wouldn't have worked. So think about that. The body and the accent that they attacked was an asset. But I didn't listen to those losers. I didn't listen to them at all. It's just the reality of it is that you cannot listen to the naysayers. So this is a very important lesson for all of you. So when someone says, no, this is a stupid idea, you in your mind, you don't have to say it, but in your mind, just say this of you. You're an asshole. What do you know?
Okay, guys. John Smith, how'd you like that?
Dude, are you kidding me? I was holding back a tear, brother. That fires me up, man. That fires me up.
I'll tell you something about Schwarzenegger. I did a little research after watching the video. He grew up in Austria, and his dad was like a police officer, and he had an older brother. And the older brother was favored by his dad. His dad did not like Arnold at all and physically beat Arnold a lot. So he was in a household that he didn't want to be at. And to move to another country and to succeed on the level that he has is amazing. And one thing that really stands out, when he said, what's the blueprint for your life? Do you know where you're going? You know, every time he went to the gym, he looked forward to the next exercise. And I have to remind myself when I'm attracting agents, I should look forward to that next phone call, right? I should look forward to reaching out. I think, Heidi, you can relate to that. How many times we reach out to agents and we get their voicemail or they don't call us back. But it's that one agent that you get. You know, Heidi all of a sudden attracted Jennifer Stafford, and Jennifer is lighting it on fire. And Heidi probably took 9 Jennifers to get the right one. And we have to remember that, right? So should we have the mindset, John, Nick, Heidi, should we have the mindset where I can't wait to call the next agent? Even if the one agent says, I'm happy at RE/MAX, I'll never go to EXP. You should be happy. Good luck. Pick up the phone. Be happy to call the next agent. Or maybe
they call that going for no.
Going for no, right? Maybe it could be also, I can't wait to post my new listing on Facebook. Maybe it's, I can't wait to go over this coming Thursday and do a CMA. I can't wait to my farming comes out the first of every month. And Arnold really had that attitude, that mindset. It didn't matter. Nothing was going to get in his way.
Yeah, I agree.
You know?
Yeah. Hey, Bill.
Yep.
I was going to touch on that then. Because what you're saying is that you shouldn't be afraid of rejection. That's what Arnold was saying too, right? You know, don't listen to what other people say. And then Heidi brings up, right, going for no. That's why for me, you know, a lot of times, the only time I ever get frustrated in the real estate business or recruiting or, you know, any part of this business that we're in is when I don't get a chance. I'm always the type, like, you know, that saying, like, put me in, coach, just give me a shot, right? Just give me a shot. That's all I ask for. I don't care if someone tells me no to my face 1,000 times. I could care less. But if I don't even have the opportunity, that's what it is. So really, it's just put yourself out there and don't be afraid, because as Heidi mentions, like, I think AJ was explaining one time, Bill, remember that one of the first events we did not in the ballroom at the Peninsula Club, but kind of outside the ballroom by the bay windows, right? With the presentation of you, Craig, AJ was there speaking. AJ goes, he's like, you know, for every person you call in real estate, like every client, he's like, let's say he's like, if I told you had to call 10 people or maybe 100 people to get one deal, but, you know, that means that, let's say you make $10,000. That means every call you make is worth $100, right? Even if you get no. So he's like, every no you get, if someone tells you no to your face, just think to yourself, I just made $100, right? Down the road. And it's the same thing, whether you're talking to an agent or a client or whoever. So just don't be afraid to put yourself out there. You have to network. You have to have those opportunities. Every no is worth a piece of a yes down the road that will come around.
Well, one thing that Arnold said was that he didn't care what other people said. And, you know, I learned that early in my career. Once you start doing well, or you start making a little bit of a ripple in the pond, other people will notice you. And if you're going to worry about what they're thinking, that's going to freeze you. That's going to put you on hold. You can't worry about other people. You have to just keep moving forward. You have to have your plan, like he had his plan. You have to have your plan, and you have to focus on that. I don't look at other realtors' ads, their marketing. I don't care what they're doing, because I know what I want to do, and I'm going to go forward. And so just you know what, just mind your own business, basically, you know, and just focus on yourself and keep going forward.
Heidi, I agree with that. It's all about the hard work that you put in.
But you know what? I will say one thing that Arnold, I don't think he did really well in one class. In the accent deflection class, I think you need to work a little harder there.
Yes. And, you know, that accent probably helped him, right, along the years.
Yeah.
So listen, we're going to go into another video. Okay. It's really going to get into what growth mindset is and fixed mindset. Okay. And I'm going to give you guys the Webster dictionary of the difference of the two. A fixed mindset is you believe in basic qualities like intelligence or talent. They're just simply fixed traits that talent alone creates success without any effort. Now, growth mindset, you believe your most basic abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work. This view creates a lot of love for learning and resilience. So I just want you guys to know the difference between the two before we start this next video. And then we'll open it to comments after the video.
What do you think is the key to achieving our goals, our success? Some people suggest things like hard work, focus, persistence. But research shows these are all byproducts of something else, something much more powerful that we can all develop. It is this very special something that really is critical to success, and is what I'm here to discuss with you today. Someone who has achieved great success is Josh Waitzkin, a chess international master and the subject of the movie Searching for Bobby Fischer. Nobody has won all the national chess championships that Josh has. But even more impressive, when he turned 21, he took on the challenge of mastering something completely new and very different from chess: martial arts. He realized that he had learned how to grow and succeed, and he could apply that understanding to other domains. And so, he devoted himself relentlessly to Tai Chi Chuan. And after lots of hard work, many failures, and some broken joints, he became a great martial artist, and he won 2 world championships. Now he's off to jiu-jitsu. So what does Josh say is the greatest thing that ever happened to him? Believe it or not, he says, losing my first national chess championship because it helped me avoid many of the psychological traps. The key trap that Josh avoided was believing that he was special, that he was smarter than other people, and that he didn't have to work hard. He could have thought of himself as a prodigy, but he doesn't think that he has extraordinary intelligence. He says, the moment we believe that success is determined by an ingrained level of ability, we will be brittle in the face of adversity. Josh often quotes Stanford professor Carol Dweck, who discovered that some people see intelligence or abilities as fixed, what is called a fixed mindset, while other people see them, as Josh does, as qualities that can be developed, a growth mindset. More important, Dr. Dweck discovered that these two different mindsets lead to very different behaviors and results. In a study she did with Dr. Lisa Blackwell, several hundred seventh graders were surveyed to determine which mindset each student had, and then they were tracked for 2 years. Results showed that the students with a growth mindset, those who thought they could change their own intelligence, increased their grades over time, while those with a fixed mindset did not. You can see the trend. The gap in performance just widens and widens over time. The difference between these two groups? A different perspective on intelligence. Other studies have shown similar effects for our mindset about other abilities, like problem solving, playing sports, managing people, or anything else you'd like. Dancing la Macarena. The key to success is not simply effort or focus or resilience, but it is the growth mindset that creates them. The mindset itself is critical. Research shows that when we directly try to build grit or persistence, it is not nearly as effective as addressing the mindset that underlies them. How many of us think of ourselves as not math people, or creative, or sociable, or athletic, or conversely, that we're naturals? If we're to fulfill our potential, we have to start thinking differently. We have to realize that we're not chained to our current capabilities. Neuroscience shows that the brain is very malleable, and we can change our own ability to think and to perform. In fact, many of the most accomplished people of our era were thought of by experts to have no future. People like Charles Darwin, Lucille Ball, Marcel Proust, and many others. But they, along with all great achievers, from Mozart to Einstein, built their abilities. But the key insight that I would like you to walk away with today is that when we realize that we can change our own abilities, when we have a growth mindset, we bring our game to new levels. So how does a growth mindset do that? It turns out that there are physiological manifestations to mindset. Brain scans show that for people with a fixed mindset, the brain becomes most active when receiving information about how the person performed, such as a grade or a score. But for people with a growth mindset, the brain becomes most active when receiving information about what they could do better next time. In other words, people with a fixed mindset worry the most about how they're judged, while those with a growth mindset focus the most on learning. There are other consequences of mindset. People with a fixed mindset see effort as a bad thing, something that only people with low capabilities need, while those with a growth mindset see effort as what makes us smart, as the way to grow. And when they hit a setback or failure, people with a fixed mindset tend to conclude that they're incapable. So to protect their ego, they lose interest or withdraw. We observe that as lack of motivation, but behind it is a fixed mindset. Whereas people with a growth mindset understand that setbacks are part of growth. So when they hit one, they find a way around it, like Josh Waitzkin did when he lost in chess or in martial arts. Research clearly shows these effects of mindset. In one study that Dr. Dweck did with Dr. Claudia Mueller, they had children do a set of puzzles. And then they praised the kids. To some of the kids, they said, "Wow, that's a really good score. You must be smart at this." That's fixed mindset praise because it portrays intelligence or abilities as a fixed quality. To other kids, they said, "Wow, that's a really good score. You must have tried really hard." That's growth mindset praise because it focuses on the process. Then they asked the kids, "Okay, what kind of puzzle would you like to do next? An easy one or a hard one?" The majority of the kids who received the fixed mindset praise chose to do the easy puzzle, while the great majority of those who received the growth mindset praise chose to challenge themselves. Then the researchers gave a hard puzzle to all of the kids because they were interested in seeing what confronting difficulty would do to their performance. Look at what happened when the kids later went back to the set of easier problems that they started with. The kids who received the fixed mindset praise did significantly worse than they had originally, while those who received the growth mindset praise did better. And to top it off, at the very end, kids were asked to report their scores. And the kids who received the fixed mindset praise lied about their scores over 3 times more often than those who received the growth mindset praise. They did not have another way to cope with their failure. The difference between these two groups? One short little sentence. How often do we praise kids for being smart or for being great at something? We've been told that this will raise their self-esteem, but instead, it puts them in a fixed mindset. They become afraid of challenges and they lose confidence when things get hard. As Josh Waitzkin says, it is incredibly important for parents to make their feedback process related, as opposed to praising or criticizing talent. If we win because we're a winner, then when we lose, it must make us a loser. These studies show not only the mechanisms by which mindset affects performance, but they also show something else that's very important. They show that we can change mindsets. And that's important because most of us have fixed mindsets about something. Another study that showed that we can change mindsets is one in which Dweck and Blackwell did a workshop with 7th graders to instill a growth mindset in them. As a result of the workshop, the students gained more interest in learning and they worked harder. And as a result of that, their grades improved. Other studies have shown that when we teach a growth mindset, not only does it improve achievement for students as a whole, but it also narrows the achievement gap because the effects are most pronounced for the students who face negative stereotypes, such as minority students and girls in math. I've spoken mostly about children, but mindset affects all of us. In our workplaces, managers with fixed mindsets don't welcome feedback as much, and they don't mentor employees as much. And employees with growth mindsets about specific skills like negotiations become far better at those skills than people with fixed views. Mindsets can even help us solve big social issues. A recent study showed that when we expose Israelis and Palestinians to the idea that groups can change, they increase their attitudes toward one another, they improve them, and they enhance their willingness to compromise and to work for peace. We also see the effects of mindsets on relationships, sports, health. How is it possible that as a society, we're not asking schools to develop a growth mindset in children? Our myopic efforts to teach them facts, concepts, and even critical thinking skills is likely to fail if we don't also deliberately teach them the essential beliefs that will allow them to succeed, not only in school, but also beyond. There's a lot that we can do to change mindsets, but here are 3 things that any of us can do to instill a growth mindset in ourselves and in those around us. First, recognize that the growth mindset is not only beneficial, but it's also supported by science. Neuroscience shows that the brain changes and becomes more capable when we work hard to improve ourselves. Second, learn and teach others about how to develop our abilities. Learn about deliberate practice and what makes for effective effort. When we understand how to develop our abilities, we strengthen our conviction that we're in charge of them. And third, listen for your fixed mindset voice. And when you hear it, talk back with a growth mindset voice. If you hear, I can't do it, add, yet. My request to you today is that you share this knowledge about the growth mindset with your family, friends, and schools, so that all of us can go and fulfill our potential. Thank you.
Hey, John, I love add the word yet. Isn't that great?
No doubt.
Add the word yet. So, John, you're a big mindset guy. I know you have a lot to share with us. So please grab the mic and share away.
Well, these were some great videos. I mean, Arnold Schwarzenegger talking, this gentleman, I didn't write down his name talking. I mean, these things had resonated heavily. And everything we've touched on here, and it's kind of the EXP mantra and actually just an entrepreneur mantra really, is that I wanted to share with you. I mean, even the other day I came across a video, and I'll just share real quick of it on Facebook. I posted and I loved it. It was this bicyclist, Bill, and he was riding his butt. He was in a race, and they're all going down the hill, pedaling their tail off. And this gentleman, instead of pedaling, lifted his body horizontal, put his stomach on the seat where he made himself a straight line parallel with the horizon. And he just started powering past everybody who was pedaling and pedaling and pedaling as hard as they could. And he passed them all. And there's this, again, a video I posted last night, and I loved it because when I saw this video, I thought anybody I'm sure he shared this strategy to thought he was probably nuts. Like, you're going to take your feet off the pedals that power you, that drive you, and you're going to lay down in this weird unorthodox that nobody has ever done. And you think it's going to make you successful? Oh no. Oh no, you'll fail. So what's incredible about these videos and that video and this mindset, I wanted to share three quick things. All right, 3 quick things, because we could talk mindset and watch videos, but when you step away from this, I want people to remember 3 quick things, and I make it real easy. It's because they all start with the letter P. All right. So number 1, you got to have passion. You know, Schwarzenegger talked about that, and the other gentleman too. You got to have passion. And the reason why is because enthusiasm is common. Everybody's got enthusiasm, right? But endurance is rare. So you've got to have passion for something, a vision. Arnold talked about it as a vision. Your passion and your vision will drive you to have that endurance, because anybody can have moments of energy and want to do it, but do you have passion, that drive? You have to have that. Next is persistence. So as Heidi was talking about, I think she said, how many no's can you get, right? So how many no's can you take? That's persistence. How many times, just like in the video, as I said, that bicyclist that took his feet off the pedals and he ended up passing everybody. How many times can you be told, Bill, your idea is nuts. Nick, it'll never work. John, that sounds crazy what you want to do. That's persistence. How many times can you take those no's before you get your yeses? And the last P is people. Just like we're all here, and thanks so much everybody for being a part of this call, because you have to have mindset, you have to align with other people that have similar visions and similar mindsets. If you don't, things like synergy and momentum, like we're having in this coaching call, it ends up fizzling out, and then you lose passion, you lose persistence. So people with like-minded will help you continue to have passion, persistence, and that cycle will continue to happen. So those are 3 P's to make sure you remember when it comes to mindset. It's important: passion, persistence, and people. Others will lift you up if you lift them up.
John, I love it. Look at, you know me, I wrote it all down.
Absolutely.
Great stuff. I love how you finished up. You have to have people to align with your like-minded ideas, and that will keep fueling your passion and persistence.
Yes.
Well said. Really good job, John. So listen, we got about 5 minutes left. I would like to open up to anyone that wants to contribute or any questions. Please unmute yourself right now.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
So I don't know if any of you guys watched the National Geographic DeWitt on the EXPCon, but he had some really wonderful things to say. He said his biggest question was, people would always say, how many shots did you get? And he said the right question should have been, did you get the shot? Right? So, and then he said, what will I be given today? And will I be open enough to receive it? And then the last things he said, it's up to me every day. It's up to me. So I thought he was amazing. And if nobody got a chance to see it, it is on YouTube, but he was just absolutely phenomenal about mindset. That was on EXPCon, and his name was DeWitt from National Geographic Photography.
Yeah, I got to look that up. I missed that.
Oh, wonderful.
It's up to me, no one else.
Yep.
Great stuff, Eileen. National Geographic. And what was the guy's name again?
His name was DeWitt. He was a National Geographic photographer, and he was one of the keynote speakers. It is so fabulous. Everybody will really enjoy it.
It's DeWitt Jones.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, I wanted to add there, Eileen, you know, because like you said, he said, if it's up to me, but it's something that I say all the time. And I said, it's up to me to create the we. Because I think people could sometimes hear the me and think it's a very I thing, But when I hear what you're talking about, when I hear that it's up to me, I think people just take very personal responsibility to say, it's up to me to create the we. We got to build bigger. We got to teach others. We got to lift others up. At least that's something I always say.
You know, I like that. John, I like that a lot. You know, we're trying to create a we on this coaching program we do every week. Good stuff. Anyone else want to chime in? Quiet crowd today. Heidi, any final thoughts on your end?
I just say, you know, do your own thing. Everybody beats to their own drum, and just keep beating it, and, you know, move forward. Don't worry about other people. But mindset is true. If you let people get into your thoughts, you know, they're gonna affect you. And why would you let them do that? I mean, someone you don't even know, you could care less about.
So Heidi, I have a question for you. Obviously, we all know you having a big successful team that you're running in Charlotte that you developed over the years. And now you're spending, you know, a lot of time also in Vegas, and you're building a new team. How do you go back in time? Most people won't want to do that. You're starting all over. What did you have to pull out from your inner core and change your mindset to start all over?
Patience. There, you know, all the systems are already there. So just trying to duplicate them in a different place. The hardest thing is the players. You know, like I wish I could have, you know, John, Jennifer, Deborah, Alexa, you know, everybody out here, but I can't. They can't clone themselves. And then I have a hard time because when I interview other people for my team here, I try to compare them to my people in Charlotte already.
Well, you know, it took you a long time to get a John, a Tim, and a Jennifer, though, right?
I know, but look at the other people that are being cultivated. Like I'm going to tell you right now, I can tell where everyone's at. They're all at the office. I can tell. So there's COVID going on, but Alexa is sitting outside my office door. Deborah's in the conference room. Jennifer's in her cube, and John's in his home office. They're all where they should be to be successful, because I really don't believe. Now, I mean, this is my belief, okay? I don't believe that you can truly be successful unless you get around other people. So this Zoom call is getting us around other people to, you know, give you that synergy to help your mindset. But I love when my team comes to the office, and, you know, I don't care if they come there or not, but I love it that they're there. I know what they're doing. They're making phone calls. That when Deborah goes in that conference room, she's working on her leads, and she's working on attraction. I know what she's doing in that room because I talk to her when she's in that room. So I think it's, you know, that gets them in the right frame of mind to be there. Like even me, I'm working from home, but I'm going today to find myself a little office outside of my home because it just makes me feel like I'm really there to work. So, you know, we're talking about mindset, and that's a personal thing. Your mindset is personal. You know, don't let other people influence it. You have to make it your own. And the biggest thing is for me, you know, I have my systems in place. It is easy, a little bit easier, I think, now because they're in place. And like if I had all this when I first started out. But here's the biggest thing that I say to everyone on my team when they get upset about things. And I just said it to my husband last night because he's just returned to real estate after 10 years. He made a mistake with a piece of, you know, the document. And I said, let me ask you a question. Is anybody going to die? I said, did anybody die? And he looked at me and he just started laughing. And I said, see, it's not really that big of a deal. So keep that in mind. I mean, like John Green says, you know, we are not performing open heart surgery. This is real estate. No one's going to die. It's not, I mean, it's just not that big a deal. I don't mean it, you know, derogatory, but I'm just saying, you got to put it into perspective.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Heidi, obviously you're going to be successful out in Vegas. You're doing it now. Your team's growing. Nick, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Your first year in real estate compared to what you're doing now. This year, you're having a great year. Okay. Share with everyone your mindset, maybe your first 6 months compared to now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, my story is a little different. Well, it's probably similar to a lot of people, but I was working part-time jobs and also starting my own business when I got into real estate my first year. So my first 6 months were basically, let me learn. Let me just get my butt in the seat everywhere I could be. I went to every single training, every class, every Zoom call, anytime there was an event going on, I was there in the front row, like the front row. Like that's how I was first 6 months. And then I finally sold a couple houses and ended up selling like doing 5 deals. I didn't sell all 5, but I had a referral, had a couple deals I co-brokered, and I had one listing of my own. And I was like, okay, I closed the year with about 5 transactions in my first year. And I was like, okay, I count that as a success. I quit 2 jobs I was working. I was doing really well in my other business. So I said, okay, let me start doing like actual marketing stuff, and really just started to grow. But I was always learning. Like, again, anytime there's an event, I just was there. I just always try to be present. There's a great, one of the best movies of all time, in my opinion, Bronx Tale. You have Sonny. He's like, in this, he's the mafia guy in the Bronx Tale, but he says, you know what? He's like, when I was in prison, he's like, I read Machiavelli. And you know what Machiavelli talks about? He talks a lot about availability. He's like, you know why my crew thinks they're safe? Because I'm available. I live right around the corner. You know what? People don't come around here and screw with us because I live right around the corner. It's all about availability and always being present. And so that to me is like mindset. I was always you have to be there. Like Heidi said, if you're sitting on your couch, you're not available, you're not around, you're not in the right mindset, the right place. You got to be in that place. So now, to this year, I'm doing really well. I should sell over 20 homes this year. And I am trying to be out more and, as much as I can on these Zooms, and just, connect with the right people. But it's always being available and having the right mindset.
And Nick, you've had a pretty good mentor, haven't you?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Bill's okay, right? He's okay guy.
All right.
No, Nick's been doing a great job. So before we leave, John Green, can you hear me?
He's muted.
You there, John?
John,
I'm unmuted. I'm here.
John, just tell everyone, how long you been selling real estate?
20 years.
20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about your mindset before we wrap up today.
Wait. He's going to tell you about his mindset, but tell him what you did last week.
Oh, I sold 6 homes in 7 days.
Wow.
And I said, what happened to the 7th day? And he goes, well, even the Lord rests one day. I said, do not compare yourself with him.
So John, I'm going to ask you a question now. So did you close 6, or they're going to close like December or January?
Oh, no, they all went under contract.
Okay.
They're just under contract.
I have my next question, John. When is your anniversary date with EXP?
It's the end of like January the 1st. Yeah, it's the end of the year.
Oh, so they're all going to close in January?
No. Some will close in December. Some will close in
John,
April,
I want them to
in May.
close in January, John.
Bill's counting his revenue share. Get
I'm
on
counting
it,
my
Bill.
revenue share, John. Okay,
Thank you,
John.
Bill.
Let's talk. Great job, John. Let's talk about mindset. How do you put your mind to sell 6 homes in 7 days? Like, just mindset. What have you brought into your business that strengthens your business to be so successful?
Well, I think mindset is, and I think this might come with any career over 20 years. Like Heidi says, no one's going to die. We didn't cut off the wrong leg. No one's flying across country with a heart in a cooler. Okay, these are very important things to our clients, but they're not. They're not. There's things that we can fix. There's things that we can work on. It's not life altering. Okay, if we take it seriously. I think one thing about mindset, Bill, I think the most important thing is we take things seriously. And like Jennifer, being a new agent and being successful, she takes things very seriously. Now, over 20 years, some things that she might get excited about, I'm like, yeah, I'll chew a piece of gum and we'll get over it. Okay. But I think in real estate, I like to see people, this is not a gig. This is not DoorDash. This is not, this is very important. And we have a lot of responsibility for people. We have to have a lot of training and understanding for people. So it's a career, it ain't a gig. And if someone thinks it's a gig, they're just going to, oh, I'm just going to sell a house here and there and just make all kinds of money. You're probably going to screw up somewhere along the line. And you need to take this seriously, you know, and I think I've mellowed out. Heidi's mellowed out over the years and everything. I think that just comes with age, but I think as long as you take, my mindset is as long as you take the client and the customer seriously, things will go well. And you want to do what's in their best interest, and you want to do the right thing always. Because you do the right thing always, you can lay your head down at night, in my big head, and sleep.
Well, John, you had me until you said that Heidi's mellowed out.
Oh, whatever.
Yes.
Up to that point, you had me. Okay.
Hey, I haven't thrown a phone or slammed a door in years.
Well, listen, guys, great stuff today. Wednesday, we have guest speaker. He is a coach, transformational partnerships. Mike will be on this Wednesday. And just looking at the calendar after that, we're off for Thanksgiving, but then we have Heidi Hines 1 week teaching us all how to build a successful team, because I know some agents after a while want to start bringing in agents and form a team. Then we have Melissa Chambers the next week on presenting the best listing presentation that you can put in your arsenal. And then after that, we have Heather coming on with branding. So we got a lot of good stuff coming up. See everyone this Wednesday. Thanks for everyone showing up. Great stuff. I appreciate everyone sharing. And guys, we'll see you Wednesday at 11.
Yeah. Hey, Bill, I was going to say on that note, because Christine had her question there. Christine, I know we ran out of time today. Join us on Wednesday for sure, and reach out to John. John, she just put a number there, because Christine's got a goal to become a luxury agent in Georgia. So we have some we can connect you to as well, in Sylvia Gauze, who I'm sure we'll have back on the call soon enough. So, John, you got that?
Yep.
All right, you guys connect, and we'll see everyone Wednesday.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Everybody.